All right, and welcome into the BettingPros College Football Show. It's our Week 0 preview episode. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, sporting my green as the action gets going this weekend in Dublin, Ireland, where I'm sure there'll be plenty of Guinness raised as Farmageddon gets the season going. I'm back in the saddle with a delightful cast of characters, including a man who is never afraid to back those underdogs, big game hunter Terrell Furman Jr. Terrell, is there any better feeling than CFB betting getting back underway?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I mean, we're in for a marathon, boys. I mean, there are some big weeks, some big games. We still got another year of this expanded playoff. And guess what? Did y'all see they're talking about adding more teams?
Yes.
I mean, college football is changing every single year. You can't treat it like the year before that. It's every single year. Every single year. I love it.
Every single year there's something new, and someone who's always on top of it all is the ever-cunning Scott Bogman. Boggs, how are you as we approach midweek, and are you a fan of the Guinness?
No, I'm actually not a big fan of Guinness. I'm not a big beer drinker anymore at this point. I stick to hard liquor if I'm going to.
I had a Guinness beer in Ireland.
Oh.
I mean, that's a cool experience. I would like to do that.
No, it's not.
Okay.
You didn't let me finish. So
I did.
Quick story time with Terrell. This is my first deployment, my only deployment, but first and only deployment. And I'm going overseas. We stop in Ireland. By the way, when you're flying over Ireland, it literally looks like the Windows theme. Like, I don't know, and Seth might be too old.
No, okay, Seth,
all right, Seth can understand the old Windows theme of like the hill and the green grass and all that. That's literally all Ireland. And so I saw that out the window. We get off and they say, hey, you can get 2 beers. We're allowing everybody to get 2 beers while we wait for the plane to get cleaned and we go fly off wherever we're going to get. I get 2 Guinness beers. I take a sip of the first one because everybody's told me you got to have the Guinness in Ireland. It's great. And as soon as I took a sip, I'm like, wow. I don't want either one of these at all.
Was it warm?
Were they insulted?
No, it was cold. It was it was a cold beer that they gave you in the airport, and I did not like it. I felt like, okay, so beer is just already not good to me. I don't think it's a very, very good drink. Now, there are certain ones that I drink, and I'm like, oh, this is tolerable and this is cool. I can continue to drink this. But like the Guinness, I don't know what it was. It wasn't IPA bad because I think IPAs are horrible. Like Guinness, that is like IPA for worse beer, and then that Guinness was right under it.
I feel like IPAs get too skunky. At some point, there's definitely a point of diminishing returns.
Because that's the citrusy one, right? It's mad citrusy and like
it's just too hoppy. Is what they call it. But I like a Hefeweizen. I like, but to me, it's like give me some whiskey or give me 38 Rolling Rocks. Like it's there's no middle ground there. So.
On Fridays, my troops in the Air Force used to go to the brewery down the street and bring back beer just to get me to try it because they knew I didn't drink beer. They're like, we're going to find one you like. We're going to find one you like, LT. And I was like, yeah, good luck. And then that's how I realized that I absolutely hate IPAs.
Okay. Well, fair enough. We'll get you guys up here to a Penn State game one day, and you can have all the Busch Light or the Icy Light. That
like, how do you chug that? You chug that? Chugging that is crazy.
Yeah, it's just like water, baby. It goes down. Today's episode, guys, does look like this. We'll break down our best Week 0 bets. We'll also take a look at the alternative and prop markets for this week. And we also have our favorite futures and 2025 portfolio locks. And before we get moving, shout out to everyone who's hanging out with us either on the BettingPros YouTube channel or the audio feed. The easiest free way to support us. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy college football betting content. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a moment of coverage this season. Now, let's not waste any more time with the beer talk. Let's go ahead and jump into our best Week 0 bets, starting with the man who I'm sure has Rocco Beck jersey hanging in the closet by now. Surprised he's not wearing it. Terrell, what is your second best bet for the weekend, my friend?
Oh, well, we're going ahead and we're getting started. And we're getting started really, really good here with Rocco Beck and the Iowa State Cyclones +3. I mean, we're going to Ireland. That's why I told the Ireland story. We're going there for the first bet, man. I mean, former Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year and owns the freshman rookie passing touchdown record over here. Beck had a rough year last year. Under 60% of his passes, still threw 25-9 for the season. Now he has two really, really good tight ends. Yes, he's losing NFL talent on the receiver, but the team was not healthy. They were really, really hurt along the offensive line. They were hurt in the linebacking core, and that really, really hurt their run game. So I think that this team now has a really, really good shot to go back to the Big 12 title game that they still got to despite having a down year. And then we talk about K-State. Well, what is the thing about K-State? It's the run game. I think that this defense for Iowa State, the one team in the Big 12 that can actually field, well, now that we got my other team that we'll talk about a little bit later, but they can, one of the few teams that can field a defense in the Big 12. I think that the run game is going to be a lot better for them on the defensive side of the ball. I think that they still got some good quality defensive backs, and they're going to make things a lot tough for Avery Johnson there. You look at this rivalry matchup and what's been going on recently, and Iowa State has won 5 of the last 7 Farmageddon games, 5-0 ATS in those games, and since 2014, the dog in this matchup, 8-3 ATS. So taking the dog here, give me Iowa State. Rocco Beck gets his first win of the season, much like he did last year in early on before they went 7-0.
All right, Iowa State +3 for Terrell. Bugs, you have a different opinion on Farmageddon.
Yeah, I'm on the Kansas State side. I'll lay the points and take the Wildcats. And I do think that this game is a coin flip. And I'm picking this game because there's not a lot to pick from. It is not my favorite bet of the week, but I do still like K-State in this game. I think, to me, you lose too much talent with Higgins and Noel going off to the NFL. I just think that you lose 50% of your receptions. No one else had more than 34 targets on this team going into last year. The O-line wasn't great blocking. I know they were hurt, but they lost Jalen Travis, their best offensive lineman as well. So I don't expect a big improvement from Iowa State. Rocco Becht is a good quarterback. I was trying to prod Terrell earlier and fire him up. He's a good quarterback. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but you take big town away from him, and this team is good in the secondary on defense, Iowa State. They don't match up well with K-State. It was a heavy run team. I think Avery Johnson comes in here. I know you have to replace DJ Giddens, but Dylan Edwards is an excellent replacement. Will he be able to carry the same gigantic workload Giddens? No, but I don't care about that for week 0, really. So you can give him a heavy workload, and he can do it in this game in particular. I think that the one thing I do worry about in this game on either side, specifically on defense, is stopping the run for Iowa State and Kansas State stopping the pass. They lost a lot of talent in the secondary. That would be my worry in this game for K-State.
Okay.
The travel makes it weird for everybody, right? The rivalry in week 0 in a different country makes it weird for everybody. Farmageddon in Ireland is just strange to see. But this is why we love college football. We get all this weird stuff in here, and this is why you like a lean one way or the other. To me, I don't really care about the past trends and all that stuff for this game. This is a weird game early in the season with two teams that are replacing a lot. It's going to be a weird one. I like K-State in the matchup.
Okay. All right. So 2 different sides of Farmageddon. Let us know down in the comments below who you think will win this Big 12 clash. For my second best bet, guys, it's simple. It's UNLV. It's an alt spread, -23.5 points, -158 at FanDuel against Idaho State. I'm going to unit and a half on this, and I get that this is Dan Mullen's first game with a new roster, but we cannot get twisted. This is still one of the better G6 programs in the nation, second favorite to win the Mountain West as well. And they're going up against an FCS team in Idaho State, which finished towards the bottom of the Big Sky Conference with a 5-7 record. And in UNLV's only game against an FCS opponent last season, Utah State, they won 72-14. This is also still very much an active QB battle, with Dan Mullen saying yesterday that both Michigan transfer Alex Orji and Virginia transfer Anthony Calandra will play at quarterback. I think these guys are going to go balls to the wall to try to win this job before they travel on the road to Sam Houston State next week. 25.5 feels like a bit of a trap line, though, So I'm going to play it safe here in week 0 with that alt spread minus 23.5. Only place I could find the alt spread was at FanDuel minus 158. So I'm going to go in a unit and a half on that. Any thoughts on my play there, Bogman or Terrell?
I like it. I think that is a very safe pick. You know, we talked about it in the early line show as well, Seth. To me, and I'd love to hear your opinion, Terrell, but I think when you have a new team with all these transfers coming in and you play a speed bump like an FCS school, let's get our confidence up. Right. Let's put the boots to them, and let's see how effective we can be. So I'd like UNLV to run it up a little bit.
Terrell?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think the only thing is if Iowa State decides to be offensive and be able to find a way to move the ball and backdoor cover this thing. But I feel really good about UNLV. I think they're going to destroy Iowa State here.
Yeah, and that's why I went with that alt spread, right? Like I want to get to where if they do win by 24, that's a key number, that I'm going to be on the right side of that. So appreciate those bets from you guys. Let's go to our best bet for Saturday, week 0. Bogman, let's start with you this time. What is your best bet for the weekend?
I'm going to take the WKU and Sam Houston State over 51.5. This is one I talked about a little bit earlier this week. And to my surprise, the money is on the under here. So we may get a better number because 2 days ago, this number was 59. And now it's 61.5, but the money, at least recently, because the odds the percentages just came out, I saw the cash was flowing on the under here. So maybe wait and see if it gets back down to 59 or 60 or something like that. But for this game, Sam Houston State is 133rd in the nation in defensive returning production. WKU is 102nd. We have a heavy pass offense for Western Kentucky, right? And we have McIver coming over from Abilene Christian. We talked about him. Experience, over 1,000 pass attempts in his career. I think he's going to come in and he's going to have success with WKU moving the ball, right? On the WKU side, we only have a couple returners on defense, not good at all. And we had so the guys that were coming back were in the secondary, and we have a run heavy team in Sam Houston State. So I think Sam Houston State's going to be able to move the ball. I think WKU tears it up. I like this game to go over. I know it's early in the season. There's a lot of moving parts, so people aren't as trustworthy in the offenses of these smaller schools. But I think with McIver, with experience and the defensive line being all transfers for WKU, Sam Houston's going to be able to run it. I think WKU is going to be able to pass it against this group. Like maybe Sam Houston State is a good defense, but this is week 1. You're still piecing it together. There's a lot of transfers. So I think it's going to lead to points on both sides.
Okay. I'm kind of keeping it with this game for my best bet of the week, and this has changed since I got this number. You can now find it. I even saw over at Bet Rivers, our friend from Pittsburgh, they are listing this at an 11-point spread now. But I have Sam Houston State plus 10 flat, minus 105 at ESPN Bet. I'm going 2.5 units on this. I really like Sam Houston coming out of the gate hot here because they have a ton of motivation after losing out to WKU on tiebreakers last season to advance that CUSA championship game against Jacksonville State, where WKU just got ran out of the building. WKU is replacing a ton, including 4 new linemen and a quarterback after losing Caden Velkamp to Florida Atlantic. Sam Houston's defense, as you mentioned, Boggs, ton of turnover. I mean, I don't think any of these guys have played a snap together. But the offense, they returned 4 big men who were with the program last year. Also, dual threat quarterback Hunter Watson scored 21 total touchdowns last season, rushed for over 600 yards, and that's in college football where you also get minus yards for sacks as well, or it could be closer to maybe upwards of 1,000. I think that could throw off this new look WKU defense, especially considering while it's different players, this scheme got absolutely torched in that CUSA championship game last year by Jacksonville State's quarterback Tyler Huff. He rushed for 23 carries, 167 yards, and a touchdown. So I think that our guy Hunter Watson will have similar results. It's Sam up for me, baby. Terrell, you don't have a best bet for this game, but do you have any feel on Boggs over or my Sam Houston State backing?
Yeah, I like both. I think that we're going to see a lot of points here. I think it's going to be a closer game. I think Sam Houston State's not going away. And, of course, you got to sprinkle on the money line when you take a big dog like that. Mm-hmm. So, I do. Like both of. I was on Sam Houston State as well. It didn't make the card for me to talk about here today because I saw both of you all talking about it, but I do like that play.
Okay, and your best bet for the weekend, Terrell, is?
Kansas laying 12.5 here.
Oh,
they are finally back home. They did not go home last year. They were getting renovations done at Memorial Stadium. They are finally back. And you're telling me a Kansas team that lost a lot of one-score games to begin the year and really set themselves back, but then finished the season with 3 top 25 wins and effectively knocking almost all of them out of the Big 12 title contention. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I am a believer in Lance Leopold. I think he's a great head coach. They still have Jalen Daniels, the quarterback. I think that everything is aligning for them to be really good in the Big 12 this year. So I think it's going to start with a very big statement win. One, to show that they're not going to start the year off slow like they did last year and put themselves behind the 8 ball in the non-con, but then also prepare themselves and get them going, because I think that they're going to have a really, really tough thing to say in the Big 12 this year. I like Kansas. I think this is a bounce back year for Kansas. They had a lot of close game losses, and I think those are going to go the other way this year. I like Kansas to start things out hot, covering 12.5.
And Boggs, it didn't make your best bets for this episode either, but I think you were also leaning towards Rock Chalk against Fresno, right?
Yeah, and this is either going to be really right or really wrong. I think that's why I don't want to mess with it. I think most likely 60% it's going to be really right. I think Kansas wipes the floor with Fresno State, and they're at home. I think Terrell's probably going to be right about this. I really like Matt Entz, the new head coach at Fresno State. I know he's been making them practice very physically, which is usually good to start the season if you get those physical practices.
Sure.
Wears you down for the rest of the season. But so I just have a little fear. And like I said, before when we were talking about in the beginner show where I was giving out advice, like, I just don't know what Fresno State is at all, so I'm not betting them week 1. But agreed. I do think Kansas wins this going away.
Okay, well, make sure you guys are checking out our early line movement prediction show that Boggs and I did earlier this week. And if you're trying to track line movement yourself, you can do it in real time with the BettingPros sports betting app. Download the free BettingPros app for iOS and Android. And with Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major books in one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and of course parlays. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get a 7-day free trial of BettingPros Premium by downloading the app at bettingpros.com/apps and using the promo code JUICE, JUICE, and activating your trial on the upgrade screen. Let's move forward, gentlemen, for our favorite Week 0 props and alternative markets. And Terrell, I'll hand it back over to you because you do have a player prop for us. What is it?
Yeah, I'm going to go Carson Hansen over there, Iowa State running back, to go over 59.5 rushing yards. It's not always about Rocco Beck for me. And I think that this is going to be a very much improved run game here for Iowa State. When Hansen has gotten more than 15 touches per game, and he's right now profiling to be the lead back, yes, it's going to be a lot of Sama as well, but it's going to be Hansen up there first. They're going to give him a lot of touches. When he's gotten at least 15 touches, he's soared over this line every game last year. So I think that this is going to be an opportunity for him to show it. They're going overseas here. I think that it's going to be a lot of the ground game here, especially early on as they try to work in those new receivers with Rocco Beck. It's going to be a lot on the ground. And I think that the offensive line this year is going to lead to a lot better holes. Hansen ran the ball well last year. I think this is going to be the chance. Hansen didn't get the good game against Kansas State. That was Sama last year. This year he gets it over 59.5 rushing yards.
Okay. I like that play a lot. And one of my less confidence plays in this alternative market is a team total, and it's Iowa State under 23.5 points, minus 104 right now at FanDuel. I'm going about 0.8 of a unit on this, so not super confident in this, but I do want to get some action in Farmageddon. And I, like Boggs, think that Rocco Beck could struggle a bit off the rip without Jaden Higgins, without Jalen Knoll. And Kansas State was also 11th in rushing last season, 215 yards per game. Iowa State 109th in rushing defense, first in passing defense. That could flip now that their linebacking core isn't absolutely obliterated by the time we get going here. But either way, I think Chris Kleinman will keep the ball on the ground and chew some clock. I'm going to roll with that. This is a slugfest in Dublin, and Iowa State a little bit rusty to start off on the offensive side. Boggs, throwing it back to you for your favorite alternative market bet.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the over on the Sam Houston State points. And this is one where it's 24.5 is their total. They only scored 14 against WKU last year. So I understand trepidation and maybe not people not liking Sam Houston. I know there's this like very positive WKU camp and very negative WKU camp. Mm-hmm. So it's like it feels like there's no middle line, but I think what is great about WKU is what it is always every year. It's the offense, right? The defense was better last year. And when the defense is good, they can win their conference. But I think right now, I just like Sam Houston State to be able to run the ball. We have a running quarterback in Watson here. This is a top 10% running percentage. Last year, they were 10th in the country in picking run plays. We only have 2 returning starters on WKU's defense. They're both in the secondary. I think both. I just think the run game is going to work effectively and very well for Sam Houston State, and I think they'll be able to, take advantage of possibly some mistakes. This is McIver's first start for WKU as well. It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. I think he's a good quarterback and he'll put up points, but he might put up some turnovers as well, which will make short fields for Sam Houston. And I think they're going to be able to put up some points. That's why I like the over.
Okay. Do you want to track all your wagers in one place like the pros? Check out the BettingPros pick tracker. It syncs up with your sportsbooks to tally which picks hit and which miss. Plus, it gives you a live look at what the public is doing, so you can use real-time tracking to determine which plays to make and which plays to fade. Track your bets today with the BettingPros pick tracker at bettingpros.com/tracking or on the BettingPros app. Gentlemen, let's go ahead and move to our 2025 futures. We didn't get to do any of these episodes in the offseason, so very excited to crack these open with you guys today. And we're going to start with our contender picks. These are a little bit chalkier plays and ones that we definitely think could potentially hit. So, Boggs, I'll hand it over to you first for your contender play.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Arizona State to win the Big 12. And right now, this is getting plus 600, I believe, at FanDuel. So, get 6 times your money on this one. And for me, it's not the easiest pick. They do have some tough road games. They're at Baylor, they're at Texas Tech, but the non-con is not bad at all. It is Mississippi State and Texas State, I believe, who they beat last year. And when you look at Arizona State in terms of what is coming back, because the big news is Cam Skattebo is gone, right? But this team is second in returning production in the country. Obviously, replacing Skattebo is huge, but Kanye Udo was awesome last season, and he was replacing Skattebo at running back. Levitt is back. Tyson is back. 4 of the 5 starters on the offensive line are back. 8 of 11 defensive starters are back. And I really believe in Dillingham. I mean, obviously, they took the Longhorns to the brink last year in the playoffs, but winning this division, going away, I think that this team loves him. It returns most of it. This is a NFL level quarterback. They have maybe the best wide receiver in the country in Jordan Tyson, and they got a good back to replace the monster that was Cam Skattebo last year. So I know a lot of people are maybe down on Arizona State coming into this year because they lost the biggest piece of their offense in Cam Skattebo. But I think the Big 12 is very winnable. Now, it's very losable as well. I think there are many teams that can win the Big 12. I think Utah is very good. Obviously, I think Texas Tech put in a lot of money. We talked about Kansas earlier. That's a good team. There's a lot of good Utah. There's a lot of good coming back for the Big 12, but I think Arizona State sits at the head of it.
Okay. I like Arizona State too. I am a believer that Sam Levitt is one of the better quarterbacks in the country. I am ranked top 5 in my early preseason quarterback rankings. So I'm a believer as well. I also have the nice Tyson and Sam Levitt stack over there in the Tadpole Bowl for Scott Fish Bowl. So excited to see how that works out. And I'm kind of similar with you, Boggs. FanDuel has the Futures Day that's coming out on August 26th, I believe. And I'm probably going to be using some of those boosts that they put out to take a ticket for them to make the playoffs. Because I think even if they lose the Big 12 championship, they could have a good enough record to punch their ticket into the CFP. So I'm there. What are your thoughts, Terrell, here on Arizona State? Do you think they can have another great season, or do you think that was maybe just a one-time magic in the bottle type of run?
I mean, as long as Levitt is healthy, I think that they'll be okay. I still like other teams in that Big 12 rather than them. And again, teasing a little bit further, but we'll get to one of them. But of course, Iowa State, I think, is a better team than Arizona State this year. And I think they'll be able to make the leap above them. But I think Arizona State is not bad. But Levitt's got to stay healthy because guess who's there as the backup? Jeff Sims. And if Jeff Sims is playing any meaningful football games for Arizona State, then you should know that Arizona State is absolutely not winning those football games. So
it's more than fair.
They need Levitt to stay upright, stay healthy for the year. As long as he's healthy, I think they'll be straight.
Okay. And Terrell, hit us with your favorite contender pick for the 2025 college football futures market, my friend.
Yeah, it's a little bit further down there, but give me Oklahoma to make the playoff at plus 550 here. I think Oklahoma is going to be a very much improved team this year. The defensive side of ball was locked down. They were very, very good last year on the defense side of ball. The issue was that the offense was no good. The offense would put the defense in bad situations. They couldn't get anything going. But now they get John Mateer, one of the highly touted transfers in the quarterback market.
Yes.
And they bring in his OC from Washington State as well. So, yes, I feel very good about that. As long as, he doesn't get caught up with no allegations now. John Mateer, hit up my number if you wanna get right for the season and you don't want nothing to happen, talk to me. But for all that saying, I think that the offense is going to be drastically improved. And with that, I think we're going to see a different Oklahoma team this year. Yes, the schedule is a beast. It's the SEC. But the thing about being the SEC is you can have a loss or two or maybe even three and still make the playoff because you're in the SEC. So I'm going to go ahead and take that chance. Give me Oklahoma. Make the playoff. Plus 550.
I like the number, Boggs. And, the nostalgic sports bettor in me wants to back Oklahoma. I remember the Jalen Hurts days. I remember the Baker Mayfield days like they were yesterday. But to me, it's just it's a loaded schedule and a loaded conference that I just don't feel as confident on the Sooners as our friend Terrell. What about you?
Yeah, I mean it's a long shot for sure, right? They do have Michigan week 2. Auburn is improved. You're playing the Red River Shootout again. You're on the road at South Carolina, at Tennessee, at Alabama. You've got home games against Ole Miss, LSU, Missouri. Like, if they come away with some wins here, they should definitely make the playoff, right?
They have strength of schedule, yeah.
So the strength of schedule is enormous for them. So if Mateer does what he did at Washington State for Oklahoma, that's great. But I think it's more likely Brent Venables is fired at the end of the season than they make the playoff. But Oklahoma is always an ever dangerous school, and
they are.
Them and Michigan, them and Michigan are the two teams that people are going to be down on, but those rosters are still really good. So don't hate it. I don't hate it. I do hate Oklahoma, but I don't hate this pick.
All right, for my contender pick, I'm taking you to the MAC with Toledo to win the MAC at plus 390 at FanDuel. This is boosted. I went 2 units down on this, and it is around plus 230 at most books, which I would still be okay with laying that, but I was really pumped to see a 50% profit boost earlier this summer over on FanDuel, so that's where I jumped on this with. And look, Jason Candle is arguably one of the most decorated coaches in MAC history, most wins in Toledo history. At the same time, this guy has been coaching there since 2016, was with the program since 2009, 2 MAC championships in his head coaching tenure, 2022-2017, and they returned their top reception getter, Junior Vandercross. He's a slot merchant. Also, their leading rusher, Connor Walzenak, is also coming back. They got 4 offensive linemen, and most importantly, 6-year senior quarterback Tucker Gleason, who led the MAC in total touchdowns, 31, finished second in total yards, north of 3,100 yards. They also have just one new player to the program starting on defense. So we talk about returning production. Well, Toledo has it in spades, baby. And you look at these other MAC contenders, there's a lot of question marks. Ohio, which you guys know I love Parker Navarro. He cashed a lot of tickets for us down the stretch last year. But they have a new head coach in tenure there. Buffalo and Miami. I do have a little Buffalo 8-1 action that I got really early in the offseason. They're down to like 4-1 here. But at the same time, Buffalo and Miami, they both have new quarterbacks and a fair amount of turnover on those rosters. Toledo doesn't play either Buffalo or Ohio during the regular season either. So I think there's a chance they're undefeated in MAC play, that the Rockets end up this season winning the Mid-American Conference. So go ahead and sign me up for a little Toledo Rockets to win the MAC. What do you think, Terrell? I know you're a big MACtion guy when it comes November.
No, I'm just shocked that this was the play that you chose. I mean, it sounds like a guy that is very into the weeds of Midwest football. I can't go against you.
Hey, man, I've been doing the research, boots on the ground this offseason, so I'm excited about Toledo. Boggs, any Toledo love for you as well?
Yeah, I think this is the right pick, right? Just looking at unit ratings, this team is second in offense and defense in the MAC. So I think just having that combo, 8th in the country in returning production on offense.
Crazy.
Well. So lots coming back there. MAC is very gettable. I did see, I think it was Kyle Hunter bring up this the other day, that Jason Candle always finds a way to drop a game that he shouldn't. So where is that?
He does.
Where is that in the schedule? I don't see it, but that's the thing. Like, you shouldn't see it. It shouldn't be there. Mm-hmm. But inevitably, it seems to happen most years. So hopefully it's just not at a bad time for the Rockets.
They're even like 24-1 to make the playoffs, and they were in the other receiving votes category of the first AP poll. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Might be a good year out there in Ohio, not just for Buckeyes fans though. But let's move forward with our long shot picks for the futures market. Terrell, sending it back to you, where you have another unlikely hero to potentially punch their ticket to the CFP. Who is it?
Yeah, I think that it's the Iowa Hawkeyes, man. I am a believer in this Iowa team. And
Gronowski.
Look, they say they have the quarterback. We know the defense is going to be there. That's one thing we don't have to question. It's just, is the offense going to break right for them? And honestly, when you go back, look at the schedule, they have a lot of home games here on the schedule where if that defense comes to play, if the offense is able to not turn the ball over, to actually move it forward rather than backwards, I've been a believer in years that, this Iowa team 1 year is going to break through the Big Ten. Like, they're just too good defensively, and it just takes a little bit of offense for them to do it. You see that they have home games in the Big Ten against Indiana, against Penn State, and against Oregon. 2 of the 3, and you're feeling very, very good. Don't go in there and be that good at home that you can sweep all 3. And this is an Iowa team that in years past has been able to handle Ohio State at home. So, like, they're not foreign to any of this. This is going to be smash mouth Big Ten football here, where it's going to be slow, ugly, and if that offense is able to keep rolling here, like the adjustments that they've made in this offseason, then I think that they're going to have a shot to be in the Big Ten title game. If you're in the Big Ten title game, there's a good chance that you're in the playoffs. So give me Iowa to make the playoff at 9-1.
Terrell, who wins between Iowa and Iowa State?
It's a tie.
I think that's next week. That's
tie ball game, about 7, 8, 9 overtimes. And then, at that point, it doesn't matter who wins.
God, dude. It would be so good if that game actually goes into like 7 or 8 overtimes. That would be amazing. Let's see it.
I can't stomach it after last year's loss to Iowa.
Shout out to Iowa. No, to Iowa State.
To Iowa State, yeah.
Iowa State PTSD every time you talk about 7 overtimes. So he doesn't like it.
That is very, very true. I know our guy Matt Peralt also already has some action down on that game over at the Daily Juice. I heard him throw out a little bet for that because that line is available currently. If you wanted to get invested in Iowa and Iowa State. Bogman, thrown over to you for your long shot pick in the futures market.
Let's go with LaNorris Sellers to win the Heisman at plus 1,800. And do I think South Carolina is going to win? Or do I think LaNorris Sellers is really going to win? No, but if I'm looking at a long shot, I really like this. Now, the mid-season stretch for the Gamecocks is a little horrific, but the reason I like LaNorris Sellers is because I think he's the closest thing that we've seen to Cam Newton since Cam Newton left college football. And outside of Nick Harbor, there's not a lot of name brand awareness for everybody else. Everybody else that's in, the Heisman contender has other guys surrounding them. And this is the only dude that is like, he's going to have to do a lot of it himself. So this mid-season stretch that I'm talking about. Okay, so you start Vatex, South Carolina State, Vandy, at Missouri, Kentucky. There's no losses in there. for them. There's some tough games. Missouri on the road is tough. Kentucky is never easy, right? They were for South Carolina last year, but then you have a bye week. Then you're at LSU, at home against Oklahoma, at home against Bama, at Ole Miss.
Wow.
You get a bye week, and then you have the Aggies on the road. So you finish off with Clemson as well. You're obviously not winning all those games. If you can find a way to only lose 2 games, I think South Carolina and LaNorris Sellers, he's going to New York. If they only lose 2 games, he's going to New York. I think that is a lock. And if you can get it at plus 1,800 right now, I think that's pretty strong. I think this dude has a chance to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft this season as well. And I'm super excited to see what he does.
Well, if South Carolina does go on a run this season, it's not going to be because they have an absolutely stacked roster. It's going to be LaNorris Sellers doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the defense always, that South Carolina defense is as good as somebody who used to frequent in Columbia, South Carolina for 4 years.
Dylan Stewart might be the best defensive player in the nation.
Yeah. And so I'm 100% down on this. And I think South Carolina can be pretty good in that SEC. Things just got to break right for them. They're one of those teams that, this SEC is so competitive that it just takes one team to go on a run. One team to just be able to, hey, we can close out these close games. And now they just look way better than the rest when really everybody is just log jam close to each other. So, yeah, there's definitely a run possibility where this happens.
All right, well, I'll round out the long shot picks with the longest bet of the evening, Georgia Tech championship outright, 250-1 from our friends in Pittsburgh at Bet Rivers, 0.2 of unit, so just a sprinkle here. And back in February, I wanted some action on the Yellow Jackets after another 7-6 season. Plus, they knocked off Miami, who was ranked top 10 last year. They almost beat Georgia in clean old-fashioned hate, took them to 8 overtimes. And their win total's been juiced all offseason. I don't feel comfortable taking them to win the ACC. However, I think there's a great cash-out opportunity here because they should not be 250-1. So much to the point that Bet Rivers has already shrunk this line down to 100-1, closer to where it should be. But it's still 200-1 at FanDuel. We always know that FanDuel's very aggressive at cashing out futures. So if you do want to get invested with them, I would send you over there. In my mind, Georgia Tech could be the dark horse, second best team in the ACC. They have dual threat quarterback Haynes King. He's returning for his 6th season. After a year where he really, really improved from a passing standpoint, 72.9 completion percentage, first in the ACC, 4th in the entire nation, and also had a ton of touchdowns both on the ground and through the air. They have Jamal Haynes in the backfield returning. I know they did lose Eric Singleton Jr. at receiver to Auburn. That was a big headline in the transfer portal. But they do have Malik Rutherford returning, most receptions on the team last year. And they also got Eric Rivers coming in from Conference USA after leading the conference in yards and touchdowns from FIU. So really like what they've been putting together there. And the schedule's not bad at all. They catch a new-look Colorado team in week 1. And I think they might be able to take advantage of no Shedeur Sanders, no Travis Hunter out there. Va-Tech at home, I think, could be a little bit of a barn burner. And then Pitt in Atlanta. So I think realistically there's a chance that the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets are 10-2, and their only losses are Clemson and Georgia heading into the postseason. So I think if they can just even get to the ACC championship game, you're going to have a nice cash-out opportunity for multiple units waiting for you here. So a little Georgia Tech action, boys. What do you think?
I mean, Terrell, what would you do if Georgia Tech won the Natty?
I'd have, do you know the amount of apologies I would owe Haynes King? Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh. That's the first thing that I'm doing. I'm just go ahead and I might try to, just write a letter like, hey man, you might
have to make it a song like Stan.
You might go through some old videos and stuff. Like, there may be one day that somebody pulls up these old videos and told me how much I hated you as a quarterback. Not even last year, but 2 years ago. Completely hated you as a quarterback. If he wins the national championship, the amount of walking back that I have to do, it would be crazy. Yeah.
And also, we'd have to change it from Bill Connolly's system to Seth Woolcock system, I believe.
Hey,
if Georgia Tech wins a Natty, this would be crazy. Look, I like the outlandishness of it, but I think the reason you saw it go from 25,000 to 1 to 10,000 to 1 or whatever it is people stop betting it. What can we do to get people to bet this? Make it look a little more reasonable, I guess. I don't know. But it is a long shot. I'll say that for you, Seth. And I don't hate the explanation with the schedule and everything, but I don't foresee Georgia Tech making the tournament. So we'll see.
Cash out, baby. That's the play here.
That's the name of the game. I get it.
Out and so, but no, I totally understand. I do not expect Georgia Tech to actually win the championship, but I do think they'll be better than 251 to 1 odds there. So let's go ahead. Let's round out the program with our portfolio locks. This is our single most confident future bet. If you could only make one bet this season, it is what, Terrell?
The Utah Utes are going to be so much better this year. They were already on the right path before Rising got hurt. Now we don't even have to worry about it. Medically retired, sir. Have a great rest of your life.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Now we bring in Dampier and Beck, the OC and QB from New Mexico. The QB Dampier threw for 2,700 yards last year, rushed for 1,100 yards. Like, this offense with the nation's best offensive line, it's going to be everything that I wanted. It's going to be the Big 12 offense of Utah that I was talking about last year, mixed with that defense coming over from the Pac-12 that is clearly the best defense smoking in the Big 12. Like, there's nothing that's going to stop them defensively. So as long as the offense is going out there to be electric, and if you're telling me this guy can rush for near 1,000 yards rushing, like, Utah is going to be so good. So just give me a flat bet on Utah to make the playoff, plus 450. But I really think they make the playoff because they win the Big 12. That is my pick to win the Big 12, Utah Utes. And so I will just take the flat bet for them to make the playoff at plus 450, because if Utah is in the Big 12 title game, win or lose, they're making the playoff.
Boggs, I like the rationale. I like the analysis. And I actually really think Devin Dampier is a really, really dang good quarterback. I just worry, can that translate to the Big 12?
I think this is the best pick that Terrell has had all day. This is my favorite of your picks, by the way, because I think the Big 12 is open. I like Arizona State, but they play each other this year. And Utah is a very, very good squad. Another team very high in returning production, 16th in the country. That's 6th on offense. Wow. Let's just replace that horrific quarterback, right? Defense is fine for them. For the Big 12, it's still very good. It's still a top 5 defense. But, I think the thing that we forget about that Terrell just brought up, and it's very, very smart, is that just what type of home field advantage Utah has when they are a good team. When they are a strong team, those people are ravenous, and they make it a very, very, very difficult place for opponents to play. So I really like this pick, Terrell. I have ASU, but ASU goes to Salt Lake City to play this game. So, and like you said, if they get to the Big 12 championship, they're likely to make the playoffs. So, I think this is a very strong pick for your what is this? Our strong bet of the
portfolio lock.
Future.
Utah Utes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Got first episode, Iowa State love, Utah love. Only thing I didn't pencil in was some Vandy love, but we got all season.
They don't play. So
you're
not going to pick them to win the SEC, are you? Come on.
Nah, maybe not to win the SEC, but I've been looking for different ways. I'm gonna just continue to take them on the money line against some of these powerhouses because they're going to win games. They're going to.
All they got to do is win one to pay you out. So
yeah. Honestly, no, we always know that Salt Lake City, very tough place to play, especially when they're getting rowdy down there on those 3.5% beers, since they don't have real beer out there. But regardless, let's move forward here, Bogman, with your favorite bet of the futures market, your single most confident future. What is your portfolio lock for 2025?
Yeah, listen, I'm not the biggest futures bettor, right? And it's because I don't like to have my money tied up for the whole season. I'd rather be actively betting that if I could. So if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to pick one I really like. And this one is barely paying you out. It's plus 105. But it's Clemson to win the ACC. And I just think that this is the most obvious pick anywhere. They have talent everywhere. They have top 10 unit ratings at Quarterback, they're 4th. Wide receiver, they're 5th. O-line, they're 1st. Defensive line, they're 2nd. They're number 1 in returning production in the country. That would be 1st on offense, 5th on defense. Their toughest opponents are non-conference opponents, so they're not even going to count against their conference record. It's LSU week 1, and then it's South Carolina to end the season. Every other game, they should be close to a double-digit favor, if not at least a touchdown favor. And everybody against the SEC or ACC, excuse me. So I just think at plus 105, this one is doubling up your money. You just have to wait all season to get there. So, ACC isn't. It's just Clemson is by far the lock to win this. It'd have to be something to Klubnik and a massive rash of injuries, I feel like, for Clemson not to win the ACC.
I mean, they have such a loaded defensive front, too. Potentially one of the best we've seen in years with Parker and Woods and everyone in between. So I'm with you there. I was touching on it pre-show that they opened closer to plus 250, 3-1, somewhere in that range to win this. And I regret not getting on it because Terrell really does feel like Clemson, the arrow's pointing towards them. Dabo's starting to use the portal a little bit as well. So good times, I think, down there in the Carolinas for Clemson fans.
Yeah, I like this box. There's only one loss that I think is actually there for Clemson in the ACC because they get to avoid Pitt. And
Georgia Tech?
No. Good try. Good try. Good try. It is a road game. Now, I will admit, Georgia Tech catching points at home, very, very interesting. I'm sure Clemson's still going to win that game. But when they go on the road to North Carolina, I think Bill Belichick is going to throw the nastiest defense at Klubnik that week.
Good. Yeah.
And if Klubnik is not on, we have seen Clemson look bad. The reason that I think Clemson is going to have a good year is because I think Klubnik's going to have a good year this year. But when he plays that North Carolina team going up against Bill Belichick, I think that they're going to rattle him. And I'm very interested to see this North Carolina defense over the course of the year, what North Carolina looks like overall. But I think that is honestly the only loss that I have penciled for Clemson in the ACC this year is North Carolina getting an upset win at home.
Okay. All right. Well, I will round us out with my portfolio lock. And I had a few different ways I could go here. I had several win totals that I locked in early back in February. I have the under on Tennessee 9.5, but that's like moved now since that was before Nico even transferred. So they're like, without Olive Garden over there, they're down to like, I think under 7.5. So I'm not going to give that out. I have the Indiana over. I have Florida over their win total, but let's go ahead. And since I can't bet player props here in Pennsylvania for college football, Betting Awards is about as close as I can get. And DraftKings earlier this summer, they offered me a 25% boost on a 1-unit futures bet. So I figured this is a great time, expand my portfolio, expand my exposure to who I believe is the nation's top wide receiver, Ohio State's Jeremiah Smith. I'm taking him to win the Biletnikoff Award, plus 375 after being boosted. I think you can still find it around plus 250, plus 275 if you want to get invested with this as well. And for me, man, like, he's coming back. He joins Alabama's Ryan Williams as the only returning semifinalist for this award last season, the top-ranked overall prospect in the 2024 class. He's coming off a season where he had, just 1,300 yards, 4th most in the country, 1st most in the Big Ten, and 15 receiving touchdowns, 2nd most in the country, led the Big Ten in that statistic as well. And this is sharing the field with first-round NFL draft pick Emeka Egbuka, who's already making waves in the NFL. And they also had a great running back prospects, Travion Henderson, Quinshad Judkins in the backfield. I know there's no Will Howard this year. It will likely be Julian Saying at quarterback for the entire season. But he's a former 5-star prospect himself. He transferred from Alabama after Nick Saban's departure there. And I suggest getting in on this now because I think this line will shrink drastically as early as week 1 when the Buckeyes go up against the Texas Longhorns, Boggs Longhorns, who he knows this is a pretty new secondary down there in Austin. And that's a rematch of the Cotton Bowl. So high stakes. He'll be in the national spotlight early and often. So I'm betting that Jeremiah Smith will join Jamar Chase and Jordan Addison as the 3rd underclassman to win this award since 2019. And I was expecting this line to be a lot shorter, maybe 2-1, maybe plus 175. So to get it here, over 3-1, plus 375, it's an absolute hammer for me, boys.
The only question about this award to me, because I think Jeremiah Smith might be the best returning player in college football. Like he is so amazingly talented. What is Julian saying? Like that is the question. Yep. Like is Julian saying going to be able to get him the ball like Will Howard did? I think that is all that we are worried about. That's why it's maybe longer odds than projected because we just don't know about the quarterback spot. But I really like these are all three of these. I feel like are all very reasonable, well thought out bets for the long term. So if you're going to have to, put your money away for the season, or at least until you get that payout, like Seth has suggested before, I think these are all very, very well thought out, very, very good bets.
Any thoughts, Terrell?
No, I'm in agreement. I will only use my time to defer my time to your time before we get up out of here. And Penn State, Texas, both of you all feel like you can win a national title. I would talk about my team, but I have about 5 of them, and that would take too long. So, Seth, we'll start with you. How do you feel about Penn State this season, and will you be cheering a national championship at the end of the year?
If not now, when? That's pretty much my thought process. We got denied Dennis Sutton coming back. Dude, we got Aller coming back. We got Singleton. We got Katron Allen. Yes, we don't have Warren, but we got a guy named Luke Wilson who should be an absolute weapon there in the middle of the field. We brought in Pena from Syracuse. We brought in some other really good wide receivers coming out of the G6. So I'm all in, baby. I got a 10-1 future on him. So I'm riding that one, but I thought that would be a little bit of a homer bias for me.
Okay. All right. Man, a lot of pressure with if not now, then when. Because if it's not now, then I can't wait. Matter of fact, producers, can you please clip that so if it doesn't happen this year, I can play this again next year? I appreciate that.
You can probably play it for the next
Bob, same to you. Arch Manning, Texas, how is it going? Are you cheering a national championship at the end of the year?
I think so. I won't say if not now, when, because I've been there and done that, right? Last time was 20 years ago, so I'm ready for another one. That would be great. Look, there's a lot of pressure on Arch. I understand. So if not this year, next year for us. But I just think you do a great job of replacing the interior of the defensive line with transfers. Colin Simmons comes back, one of the best defensive players in the country. The O-line is filled with monsters and Feldman freaks. Obviously, it all comes down to what Arch does. The run game is awesome. Wisner comes back, and Baxter is better than Wisner, and he comes back healthy, right? You get these DK Metcalf-like freshman wide receivers on this squad. Like I am very, very excited, and let's see what a $40 million roster can do in college football. Let's go.
I cannot wait to fade both of your teams all season long.
Let's do it.
See what happens.
Let's do it, baby.
Can't wait till Rocco Beck goes undrafted.
See, look, that's not even the team that I'm even feeling most about.
That's your boy, though.
But I don't know. That is my guy.
Diego Pavia, maybe. But is there any college football player you love more than Rocco Beck? That's your team. Rocco Beck is your team.
Is there a college football player that I love more than Rocco Beck?
And by the way, you have to pick somebody. I'm on Texas, and Seth is on Penn State. Who are you picking to win the Natty? If you got to pick somebody right now?
I haven't actually thought. So I never really sit here and think about national title because I actually never placed the future. But if I were to place the future this year, I think definitely not that. I would go.
Gonna go back to Carson Beck, Miami. Clemson looks good.
Clemson. It's definitely not Miami. It's definitely not
LSU.
It's definitely not OSU at the top. I'm good on Texas. I'm good on Penn State.
Oregon?
Not all the way there on Georgia. I think it's Alabama. I think
Bama's very good.
I think DeBauer has something going.
They were the first team out last year, and everyone forgets about them.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of the motivation. I know a lot of people that went to Bama, and they are very, very hard on that football program when they're not winning games. And so I think this entire offseason was just poised for DeBauer with the moves they made and revamping the offense. And we know the defense is going to be really good still. And they have the schedule that it kind of breaks right for them. So if they go on a run during the college football playoff, I wouldn't be surprised. So if I had to pick one, I'll go with Bama.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it for us on this episode of the Betting Pros College Football Show. Still to come later this week, and every week is Bog's Best Bets and our parlay picks. Let us know down in the comments below your favorite Week 0 picks. We want to hear from you. And while you're here, make sure you're smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel if you're new. For Scott Bogman and Terrell Furman Jr., I'm Seth Woolcock. Take care, y'all.